Furina is quite literally a god tier support. Yes, finally. Fontaine support. While we are leveling her up here, I do want to give a big thanks to Genshin Impact for sponsoring this video. As usual for raising modes, we're just going to get her up to level 70 and then check out her kit in Constellation. I also do want to talk a bit about how she impacts the meta and how she can slot into some of my personally favorite teams. So there she is, level 70. Of course, we should raise her talents as well. First impression wise, I'm not seeing that her normal attack's going to be that important to raise super high, but I kind of want to anyway, just getting it up to 6 like the others. It's pretty cheap to do so anyway, so I feel like why not? Although I will say her skill and ultimate do sound infinitely more important than her basic. Now's as good a time as any to do the talent and constellation overview. As is pretty standard for supports, her normal attack isn't anything super special. Usually I do like to appreciate the animation though. Her final hit, she sits on a bubble and spins around. It's amazing. Her charge attack is incredibly unique though. There is a small burst of physical AoE damage, but more importantly, this actually changes her Arca alignment. By default, she's in Usia alignment. Doing a charge attack will change her to Numa alignment. All Fontaine characters until now aligned with one or the other. She's the first one that can change her alignment. In Furina's case, I think the more important thing is that it also changes her skill. In her default mode, Usia, she'll summon 3 little helper allies called Salon members. Basically, they're just auto-attacking on their own. I feel like it's important to differentiate other off-field damage like Yelan that requires other allies to basic attack. So yeah, in a nutshell, they automatically deal damage. There are a couple of quirks though. Firstly, the damage they're doing is based off of max HP. Also, for every character in the party that has more than half of their HP, they will get stronger, dealing up to 140% of their original damage if everyone in your team is above 50% HP. The other quirk is that the Salon members will consume it to boost their own attack. This is all to say, it's pretty important to have a solid healer in your team, or otherwise, mostly units with their own self-healing or self-sustain. At any point while those 3 members are on field, you can do a charge attack with Furina, and those 3 will be changed into 1. This one's called the Singer of Many Waters, and it's a pretty basic ally. It'll heal nearby party members. And finally, her burst is not only an AoE Hydro attack based on her max HP like everything else, but it's also a team-wide buff. Her burst lasts 18 seconds. Within those 18 seconds, as allies' HP increases or decreases, she will get a fanfare point. 1 point per % of HP change. As an example, let's look at Nouvelette's charged attack. Assuming Nouvelette's around half HP when he starts his charge attack, he will immediately restore 48% of his max HP from 3 droplets, giving Furina 48 fanfare points. And then another 48 points for a full 3-second charge attack. It would be about 100 fanfare points. We'll go more into depth about the fanfare point situation a little bit later, but basically the more fanfare points, the more damage you'll do and the more healing you'll receive. Even at just level 6, having all 300 points would give you a 51% damage boost. Definitely not too shabby. I'll probably have to actually test her first passive here because it sounds a little confusing, but basically if one of your other teammates gets healed and that healing is overflowing and it's not by Furina, then Furina will heal for 2% of their max HP every 2 seconds within the next 4 seconds. And her second passive is a buff to her skill based on her max HP. Up to 28% damage increase for the Salon members, or up to a 16% decrease of the healing interval for the Singer of Many Waters. For the maximum buffs here, she should have 40,000 HP, which seems somewhat reasonable. And her final passive decreases the underwater abilities by 30%. Pretty good if you know you're going to be going underwater for a while. Moving on to Constellation, C1 already sounds absolutely insane. After doing her burst, she will start with 150 fanfare points, and the total cap is increased by 100. Again, at skill level 6, 150 fanfare points equals to about a 25% damage increase. Of course, going higher and higher the more you raise the skill. So C1 already sounds great. C2 sounds absolutely crazy as well. It's another buff to her ultimate, and basically this makes getting the fanfare points much faster. So instead of gaining 1 fanfare point per % of HP loss or gain, she'll gain 2.5 points. And once she reaches max fanfare, the extra fanfare points will be converted into a max HP boost for herself, going up to 140% max HP. That's crazy. C3 is the ultimate boost, which definitely makes sense with C1 and 2 being ultimate boosts as well. C4 sounds a little less crazy to me. It's basically a boost for her skill. She can regain 4 energy every 5 seconds when either of the Salon members hit an opponent or the Singer of Many Waters heals someone. Since both of those things are happening pretty much constantly, she should be able to recover that 4 energy every 5 seconds very consistently. And I mean, since her ultimate is so powerful by the time you hit C4, you really do want to, you know, keep it going as much as possible. C5 is an elemental skill upgrade, her Salon Solitaire. And finally, C6 is a buff to her elemental skill, Salon Solitaire. This is a really long constellation, as you can see over there. After using her elemental skill, she'll gain Center of Attention for 10 seconds. Her normal charge and plunging attacks are converted to hydro damage, which cannot be overridden. And since her normal attacks by default don't scale with HP, the damage in this mode will be increased by 18% of her max HP, essentially making them scale with max HP. And then there are additional effects depending on if she is currently Usia or Numa aligned. If she's Usia aligned, her normal charge plunging attacks will heal the entire party. 4% of Furina's max HP every second for 2.9 seconds, though you can continuously trigger it over and over to extend the duration. If she's Numa aligned, then the normal charge plunging attack damage will be further increased to 25% of Furina's max HP, though when she attacks with normal charge plunging, everyone in the party will lose 1% of their current HP. And those bonus effects can happen 6 times before this state ends, and she needs to do another elemental skill to regain it. Salon Solitaire does have a 20-second cooldown, and this special state only lasts up to 10 seconds, so it's not going to be a, 100% uptime sort of thing. First impressions on constellations, man, that is a hard one. Honestly though, at minimum, I would be tempted to go to C2, because you can get the fanfare so much faster, but like even C1 sounds pretty good as well. I mean, starting with 150 is a pretty big head start also. Moving on to build, of course I would just give her signature, but this is raising mode and we don't do signatures straight away. But I'd say it's worth talking about the 5 stars also and what would be good for her. I think light to foliar incision could be an interesting option. The base stats are very good, the same as her signature actually. Even pre C6, she can deal elemental damage with her normal attack because of the Spirit Breath Thorn or Surging Blade. It would only really be good if she is built with a lot of EM though, because normal attack and much more importantly, the elemental skill damage bonus is increased by 150% of elemental mastery. Festering Desire sounds solid. It's a very old event weapon, so I'm sure a lot of people don't have it, but elemental skill damage and elemental skill crit rate, I'd say that's a big part of her kit, energy recharge to continually do her ultimate. The key here gives a ton of HP, and again, very nice support weapon for boosting everyone's elemental mastery. We also do have the Dockhand's Assistant. She can heal, so she can get these stacks, which will give her energy regeneration and elemental mastery. So the passive sounds okay for her, but it's mainly the main stats I'm going after here. I also think Favonius would be a good option. It's a generally good support weapon. We will definitely swap to it if we have energy recharge issues, but for now we're going to try Dockhand's Assistant. As for artifacts, I mean, since her skill does eat HP from herself and everyone else in the team, she could be another good contender for the Hunter set, giving her 36 crit rate. I also think the new Golden Troop set would be good for her because that's 70% elemental skill damage. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna go Golden Troop. Of course, an HP percent sans. We don't have any good ones at all, so we're just gonna go for the energy recharge EM, I guess. Yeah, I think we're just gonna build a pretty standard DPS-y, so we have a hydro damage goblet here and a crit rate circlet. I think Tenacity could be a pretty interesting set for her, depending on the team. It is a support set that increases attack of everyone. In the teams I'm going to be using her in, the DPSs are mostly also HP scaling, so I'm not going to bother with Tenacity, but it is an interesting option depending on your team composition. Besides that, I'm not seeing any like super perfect sets for her, honestly, besides just like 2 HP sets or an HP and a Hydro set, etc, etc. Looking at the rest of our stats, yeah, we're at 33.3 HP. Again, getting her to 90 should help with that a lot eventually. We have about 60 crit rate, 120 crit damage. The ratio is pretty good. The numbers could definitely be higher there. A little low on the energy recharge, so maybe we will try Favonius eventually, but for now, I think this is good enough to try her out, really. But yeah, talking about team, I think I'm going to be pairing her with Nuvalet. I've really enjoyed Nuvalet ever since he came out, and I think Furina will be a very good partner with him and Kazuha for the Hydro Swirls. Baiju is mainly here right now because I have seen how much her skill eats HP from the entire team, and Baiju has team-wide healing on his skill, so I think that'll be really good to keep everyone somewhat healthy. I know Furina can heal, but it's single target and not like insane amounts or anything. So this is the team we're going to start with. with. Of course, Nuvolet will be the main DPS in this team. He will really help Furina get a bunch of fanfare stacks because he is rapidly eating and restoring his own HP. We might take a look at like Kuki Shinobu as well instead of Baiju, see if that's enough healing. But yeah, before we move on to the showcase, I do want to kind of check out those things. So we're just going to press our E. Those 3 little minions will pop out. We can just see what those are doing like by themselves. Yeah, like I'm seeing some 7Ks in there every now and then, some 4Ks. Some of them attack slower and faster, and you can actually see over there, everyone is like almost half dead already. Would be better to test with a single target healer. That's not Furina because apparently her healing doesn't count for this. So we're just gonna be with our Kuki Shinobu and fully heal her, and then you might be able to see once she is fully healed, Furina's passive will kick in and start healing everyone else. It's definitely a small amount of healing, but there's not really a cooldown on it. So if you're consistently like over healing with someone like Kuki Shinobu or whatever, the entire team will slowly get healed as well. All right, that's actually better than it sounded like. I wasn't aware she would heal the entire party. So that's pretty good. Since we are going with this team, rest of the team stats, we got C2 Kazuha, C1 Nuvolet, and C6 Kuki Shinobu. But with Kuki Shinobu, I'm going to borrow Nilu's sword. With Kuki in our team though, we're just one step away from doing Hyperbloom. And while Hyperblooms won't necessarily get stronger because of Furina's fanfare damage boost here, she does lots of other stuff. I mean, it'll still boost Nuvolet's personal damage. Her salon members will continue attacking even though Nuvolet isn't doing normal attacks. I definitely will need some practice with this team, so bear with me here. But we're just going to start with Kuki Shinobu E here, and then we're going to go to Furina and get her minions out, as well as do her burst for the fanfare. And then we're going to head to Nahida, implant, you know, her skill and do her burst as well. Then we can just head to Nuvolet and start blasting, really. Okay. The entire screen was all bubbly there at the end. If I'm going to guess, that will indicate when we have max fanfare. Yeah, but you can see after that short battle, we are all hurting kind of a lot here. All right, let's see how this works. So we're going to go ahead and mark him, and then we're going to get these dudes out, but I actually want the 3 minions, actually. So here we go. So let's see how fast we can get the fanfare points. Oh. Yeah, okay, hold on. I think we have them, like, our border. Yeah, okay. Yeah, look at our border. There's no counter as far as I could see about how many we have, but I guess depending on the intensity of the border, we'll kind of have an idea. I do focus on that because that is a big part of her kit, you know, these buffs. Once we have that max border, we're getting like a 51% damage boost, even at only skill level 6 here. And then of course it gets even crazier and crazier with C1 and C2. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think there is any way for Kuki Shinobu to keep up the healing though. Like, I'm just trying to get my bursts back and everyone is constantly half dead. Or maybe we just don't care that we're always at 50% HP. I mean, Furina summons won't do as much damage. It's going to be a lot harder to get fanfare points. Nuvolet himself should have enough self-sustain, especially since he's going to be out on the field mostly with Kuki's ring. So I guess we could try something a little harder, like the new weekly boss. I don't know how this dude works, but Jesus Christ, his mat drops are insane looking. Literal black hole. Oh, is he about to eat me? Yeah. All right, well, now I think we have a slightly more normal enemy to defeat here, so sure. So we're gonna go ahead and do Furina ultimate here, try and get some fanfare stacks real quick, and then go ahead and do Nuvolet's skill. Yeah, I think we are very close to having full fanfare already. Yes, in fact, I think we do already. Use the power of Numa or Usia. I mean, Nuvolet should have one or the other. I kind of forgot at the moment, but oh, we might be going back to the whale. Yeah, we're back at the whale. Oh, it's disabled, and I think we have all of our ultimates back, which is really nice. So we can just do everything real quick here. Let's just do Nuvolet's burst here. Oh, we're not doing very much damage at all. He probably has damage mitigation or something. I mean, we are doing some Hyperblooms as well, which is nice. They were doing a decent amount. He's gone though. Yeah, it's really hard to do a proper rotation on this dude because he's always going in and out. I think he's about done. Yep, there he goes. Very unique boss. Quite a bit slower paced than I thought it would be though, to be honest. Hell yeah, we got a black hole. As for how she impacts the meta, I mean, just taking her kit into consideration, she is an insane unit for a lot of different teams. I would say more so for the newer units that have come out like Risley and Nuvalet, because they are very consistently losing and regaining HP, which is what Furina needs to gain fanfare stacks. I feel like though possibly at C2, it might just open up all of the possibilities, because at this point it is possible that just her own HP consumption from her skill affecting the entire team could be enough to max out her fanfare points and have time left over to actually take advantage of the maximum boost, you know? I would like to see if it's even possible at C0 to get max fanfare with just Furina's HP consumption. Well, we're just gonna go into ultimate mode and oh, we need the 3 dudes there. Okay, we're gonna try to avoid getting hit ourselves. And what other indication is there that we're getting a fanfare? Oh, I'm not sure if we maxed out the fanfare, but we must have gotten pretty close because like 5 of those dudes popped up at the bottom. I'll need to decode that a little bit. If we were to go back to Baiju and just do one single skill, would that be enough to max out fanfare? Because then it's kind of like we can use any DPS we want to. We're actually gonna put the skill down first. Okay, now we're gonna do ultimate. And when everyone has, I don't know, how about now? It does take a little bit of time to come back, actually. Okay, we must have been very close though. There were a bunch of dudes at the bottom. I'm sure it's not impossible to get max fanfare without someone like Nuvalet or Risley, or I guess even Linny, but it's definitely pretty hard. So we're gonna try it one more time, starting with that. And this time we are going to do just one Nuvalet E and charge attack. Okay. Ah, yes. Okay. So indeed, we actually never got max fanfare without Nuvalet, though I guess it should be noted there's nothing particularly special about max fanfare, and even at C1 it makes it a lot easier because the limit is increased by 100, but you start with 150, so that's 50 less you actually have to get to max out fanfare. But I guess that's mostly to say she is a slightly more niche support at C0, but especially C1 and C2, I think her possibilities open up a lot. It really would be best to pair her with Nuvalet, Risley, or maybe even Linny. Hu Tao could possibly work. Xiao might actually be pretty decent as well. He does eat his own HP. It's only 2% per second, so not a ton. It definitely will require a little bit more thinking to get that perfect balance of HP consumption and HP restoration. Overall though, I'm really liking her so far with the Nuvalet team. I don't think Kuki Shinobu is quite enough healing right now, so I probably would stick with Baiju and continue using Kazuha maybe. But yeah, I will obviously be playing with her a lot more in the coming days and experimenting with things. As usual, raising modes are more just to learn about the character and trying them out a bit. Overall though, again, just an incredible support. I'm mainly just happy that we have a Fontaine support finally. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time.